What's good, y'all? Welcome back to another video. I'm your host, man. I'm Lou. We trekking along in the series while I'm breaking down each position group and my guys I got going in. I'm basing this list, as I said before, off the PFF list, but I'm going through and doing my own draft analysis and comprising my own top guys. Man. This D tackle group is so immensely talented. One of the best D tackle groups I would have to say I've seen in a very long time, even though this is my young, scouting career, I would say. But this D tackle group, when I'm watching these guys, one term that we use in the inner football world comes to mind is dancing bears. Dancing bears is a colloquialism used to depict, guys who are at this abnormal and giant size, but they move so swiftly and so smoothly, and they move just as good as the linebackers, or even better as the linebackers behind them. And I find that every time I see that, I think it's just, ultra impressive indeed. And this D tackle group is filled with guys like that. So without further ado, 7 guys, let's get right into it. First guy up at number 7, who I got on my list that I like, Deone Walker, D tackle out of Kentucky, wears the number 0, standing at 6'6", 345 pounds. He recorded 37 total tackles, 13 solos, and one and a half sacks. Check out these stats from last year: 55 total tackles, 7.5 sacks. Yes, I said 7.5 sacks. This has been a name. If you've been paying attention to other creators, everybody else in the draft world, they've been mentioning his name, Deone Walker. He's a freak athlete. He's extremely athletic. I just read off his build: 6'6", 345. He moves like you wouldn't even, that what I just described to you is somebody who should be, should be not moving the way he moves on film. I'm just saying. He has good hand fighting technique. Yes, he has some great moves. I think he's gonna be a 3 tech, in the league. Reminds me of the guy the Cowboys just got rid of, Jordan Phillips, the former, D tackle. He plays like him in his Bills days, not the Cowboy days. I like I said before, his strength is pass rushing, I feel. Now, some things I'm gonna tell you why I have him so low on his list. Even with me praising him, I feel like he stands straight up every play. When you watch him, he's one of those D tackles that likes to, fire off, stop, dissect, then go. I don't like guys like that, in personal opinion. I like guys that fire off, attack the offensive lineman, and dissect as they're attacking and find the ball that way. And to me, he gives off, he plays very lateral, in my opinion. He plays down the line of scrimmage. He doesn't play vertical, like getting vertical push on the offensive lineman. He's he likes to be able to knife, and the only time you see him get vertical is if he feels he can knife through and he be finesse. Like, that's another thing. Like, I don't like, he's finesse. I love the finesse ability, and it plays into his athleticism. But in my opinion, too much finesse. And I'm gonna read off his height and weight again: 6'6", 345. You should be running through some people's face sometimes. You feel me? Like, you should be very, very difficult to block at times at that immense, stature. Like, the way he plays, you sometimes think he forgets, that he's that, that immovable. Also, I don't like his stance. It's like very flat-footed, none momentum. Gonna have to coach that up. First step is extremely clip quick. Like I said, if he can't defeat blocks with quickness, he tends to get in trouble. Like, so if the first swim move or the first rip around does not work, he doesn't have a counter. Like I said, like he can't result back to a reliable bull rush. And I think that plays in of him playing too entirely high. So he's still a raw prospect, and he's going to need, some coaching. And then another thing that, it's a big red flag when watching the full games, he tends to loaf at times. People say it's because he plays a high amount of snaps. Listen, man. I don't know. This year it's 37 total tackles. Last year, 55 total tackles. This year, 1.5 sacks. Last year, 7.5 sacks. He kind of gives me as a guy that can be up and down. I don't want to use the word lazy, but the lackadaisical type. He can be so good in my opinion. Like, that is Deone Walker, man. Deone Walker, my number 6 prospect. Now, going on to my next prospect, I have defensive tackle Derrick Harmon out of Oregon, number 55, standing at about 6'5", 310 pounds, 45 total tackles, 27 total, and 5 sacks. When you watch him, I like his long frame. Like, he has a frame, something about these Oregon D linemen. Y'all remember Eric Armstead and the other guy they played with? Just those long frames. I feel like obviously Derrick Harmon is not as tall as them, but he's thicker. He's on the thicker side. He's a transfer from Michigan State. I pay attention to that. That tells me he's a blue blood. Everyone knows in the inner college football world, those Michigan State recruits, that program loves to get those lower end recruits and develop them, and they just play hard. He's gonna play hard. Great first step, active hands. I feel like he's athletically gifted. One thing I like and I preach, is something as simple as this: beating your guy. And I feel like Derrick Harmon will make an emphasis to beat the offensive lineman to the spot. Now, I'm just watching the, game versus Ohio State, even though they lost, that game. But, he didn't give up. He was the only one, still trying to make an impact on the field, knifing through. I feel like, I noted his strength down as a run stopper, but he's a promising pass rusher. He's surprisingly active on the passing downs. I don't like his stance can be, as flat-footed as well. When I'm watching defensive linemen, I like a good stance with momentum, because it affects your first step, and if your first step is going to have you high or not. Like I just got off Deone Walker. So I'm paying attention to these guys' stance, and he's having a different stance. I'm watching multiple games. You can see on multiple drives he changes his stance up. So that's going to be a coaching point that he's going to have to do at the next level. Just getting a consistent momentum stance. Uses his length well, has sneaky strength, and one of the moves I like he has is a great bull rip. Shout out to Derrick Harmon out of Oregon, defensive tackle. Now, here's where we get very, very surprising. My defensive tackle at number 4 that I like, Alfred Collins out of Texas, standing at 6'5", 320 pounds, 53 total tackles, 27 solos, 1 sack. Number 95 on the Texas Longhorns. Man. If y'all know me, I'm a Longhorn fan. I'm unbiased when it comes to this drafting stuff and his scouting. I'm be honest with you. But shout out to us. We have continued to put another D tackle in the draft, another talented one. And I'm telling you, when you watch Alfred Collins play, I think he's going to be a true 3-tech at the next level, a versatile 3-tech, might I add. He played the head up 5 DN 2. That's just get up and just rush down the middle of a defensive line. He has a very solid get off. When I watch him, he just plays violent. He plays very violent. Maintains the gap well. Strong bull rush, athletic, also has the ability to knife through, get skinny, move the hips, move the shoulders, make it hard for, the offensive lineman to get a landmark on you. That is pro level ready stuff right there. Like I said, very versatile, can play finesse and with power. I'm gonna say it again, can play finesse and with power. That's when watching him, I thought that was very, very, very impressive. So physical frame that you can build upon. Like I said, 6'5", 320. I feel like that's a great blank canvas for any team in the NFL that's going to want to draft him. Just imagine that. And then when you watch a kid play, man, I'm gonna be honest, like y'all, and he has also a elite ball finding skills. Like when it's time to dissect, come off, and always, not get lost. That's one thing about D tackles, especially young D tackles, they get lost sometimes. But y'all, I made this comparison, and even though this is a defensive end, and y'all probably remember him, but he just reminds me of him. Even though this is a defensive end, I'm comparing it to Michael Bennett. Y'all remember Michael Bennett, the defensive end from Seattle, the Seahawks, all those years? I think he got a Super Bowl with him. How he played so angry, how he, had the ability to get, finesse and play with power too. I feel like Alfred Collins is something like that, but on the interior, and he has the ability to play exterior. That is my guy, Alfred Collins, man. I really, really, really like this kid, man. Alfred Collins. Coming at number 3, defensive tackle out of Ohio State, Tyleik Williams. 6'3", 327 pounds, 38 total tackles, 12 solos, 2.5 sacks. Man, one of my favorite prospects, being able to scout. And with him, he's not as versatile as the other guys that I mentioned before, but he has a job and he does it well. Like I mentioned the build, how he's 6'3" and 327. You hear that heavy build and you might go like, oh, he's a run stopper, but actually his strength is actually as a pass rusher. He's sneaky athletic. He has will set up the offensive lineman first before engaging. What do I mean by that? He's not firing off and rushing down the midline of offensive linemen. So he may give a move. He may, get flat on down the line and make the offensive lineman, make a move or open up or give up his chest and then engage. Just like, a very good speed to power in the interior. That's what I very much notice, and that tells me he's rushing with a plan and not just rushing willy-nilly. I love, defensive tackles that can think too. Does a great job of maintaining the gap integrity. I see this on the pass, but I feel like, I value translatable skills, and I feel like this is a skill that he can translate to the run with that bull rush ability, maintaining a gap. Sometimes it's not about, as a defensive tackle, it's not about getting the tackle. It's about maintaining the gap and keeping your linebacker free for them or for somebody else to make the tackle. Just cause a ruckus, cause havoc inside. And I feel like Tyleik Williams does that. Plays with great leverage. Like I said, will get Paul up in the passing lane. When I say Paul up, I'm seeing him. That's why I said his strength is in the passing game. It's not with the sacks. It's him being active. He will get that Paul up, that big hand, the bear claw he has, and actually deflect passes down. That's very valuable, especially just doing that. It makes even a check down seem hard for the quarterback. When he has to now not just throw over the defensive lineman, but now throw with a window and actually have to worry about that's valuable because he's finishing the rep. May not be finishing with a sack, but he's finishing and trying to impact the play some type of way, and it's in very unselfish play. I would say the one thing I would say, that he needs to get better is versus the run. And in this particular area, I feel like when he engages with a blocker, his hands seem lost at times, gets folded in. He doesn't know how to, counter anything like that. That's what I seen with him. But I need him to get better at, with the counter moves inside and keeping the hands active on the run, because at times I saw, even when he was going to double team, they'll fold him up and he had no plan afterwards. But I still like the kid. That is Tyleik Williams out of Ohio State. Now let's go across to their rival, and the number 2 prospect I have is Kenneth Grant, number 78 out of Michigan, standing at 6'3", 339 pounds, 32 total tackles, 18 solos, 3 sacks. Man, When I watch this kid, man, he's a tank. He's a tank. He's a giant human being. He's a giant human being, and he's going to be very valuable on an NFL team. This Michigan team was very hard to run on, and this is one half of the reason why he's absolutely super strong. Super strong. Gonna have to pay attention to how much he bench presses, if he even does that at the combine, which I think he will. Athletic too. That's it. I'm telling you. Even I just read it. 6'3", 339. He moves well too for that. He can move laterally down the line in pursuit. He's moving very well for his size. He encompasses the title as a dancing bear. I'm trying to tell you, hand fighter. Okay. Now his leverage, I said it was okay. It was meh, because sometimes he can get a bit high. Because I'm telling you, at his strength, I feel like if he get lower, he maintain that. Every time he gets low film, he wins. He wins the rep. It's an automatic win. It's an automatic win when he maintains his leverage and actually, goes. No one can stop him. He's just entirely too strong. Okay, like I said, he can be a tank if he can keep down his pad level. When he's not tired, he has excellent pursuit. The conditioning. He's a heavier individual, so he's gonna have to improve upon that. That's something the coach is gonna have to work upon the next level. But like I saw one play when he literally pursued a guy like 30 yards down the field, and like I just said, like read you at that, even at that stature, man, that was just insane. Makes his landmarks for opposing offensive linemen difficult. That is a pro level. One thing, as a former offensive lineman, like you can tell the difference between somebody who's a pro, who's like, not a pro, amateur level, is how, easy is it for him to punch his chest, be able to shoot the hands at his chest. And an opposing defensive lineman is supposed to make it as difficult as possible. And I'm seeing Kenneth Grant do that. He's constantly, distorting his body, moving his, his hips, moving his shoulders, shooting the hands. I'm seeing that from him. And like I said, his strength is at the run stopping, but his pass rush has promise. Do not get it twisted. Do not get it twisted. And that is Kenneth Grant, the number 2 prospect. Now at number 1, consensus across everyone board, Mason Graham, the other D tackle out of Michigan, number 55, standing about 6'3", 320 pounds, 46 total tackles, 24 solos, 3.5 sacks. Does anything else need to be said about this kid? Does anything else need to be said about this kid? What a prospect coming out. He's just one of those gems. He's one of those gems. I'm calling it generational. I really am. I'm calling it generational. I'm stamping it right here, right now. One thing I like about him, I'm gonna just start from the beginning. He can play any position on the defensive line, including edge. I've seen him line up in the 1, the 3, head up on the 4, head up on the 5, and as a wide defensive end. I've seen him play all of that. That is Aaron Donald-like. If y'all don't remember, how Aaron Donald played, he could play everywhere. I'm not saying he's Aaron Donald, but I'm just saying that is Aaron Donald-like. When you watch him, he's insanely strong, insanely great motor. He plays like a conqueror, man. Every time he engages with the opposing offensive line, whenever he shifts his hips or and attempts to shove them off to the right, best believe that offensive lineman is getting shoved to the right. And if he wants to even think about throwing them to the left, best believe they're getting thrown to the left. I'm seeing him defeat double teams. I've seen him defeat triple teams. I've seen him on a one-on-one block. When he maintains position, he's shooting his hands. He's knifing through. I'm seeing him shoot, read, then react. It's insane what this kid is doing. I'm seeing it all. I very much am seeing it all. I'm seeing rips. I'm seeing, speed to powers. Like I said, he's insanely athletic. Pursuit, moves extremely well, body contortion, has a great bull rush as well. And like I said, the most important skill that I like in this, draft class with a defensive tackle, every time he rush, it seems he has a plan. He's, He's trying to set up the defense, the offensive lineman to get his hip, you know, to get him to move that post foot just 1 more inch, or get him this post foot, you know. So he's trying. He's constantly have a plan. I see a man with a plan when I see him rush. What a great prospect. His strength balanced. He's a great run stopper and a great pass rusher. Like, he's the only prospect I would say he's great in both in his class. And you know, that's what it is. He's gonna go top 10 for sure. He should go top 5, but you know, it depends on how I can get wonky at the top. But that's just that. This is how good this kid is. No one was able to run on the Michigan defense this year. Half of it was Kenneth Grant, and the other half was Mason Graham. This was a generational defense, that this generational front seven that Michigan had. And man, you can see why, you know, just a year removed, they won the national championship and won it convincingly, because the guys, opposing offensive lines, had to deal with this on a regular, and it was just giving teams hell. But listen, everyone, what a list. Thank you for everyone who's, you know, watching. Make sure to like and subscribe to the content for more. We are trekking along in the series, and until next time, peace.